Well, we're now 8 minutes into this fourth and final hour today. I'll be back, of course, tomorrow, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Central, 12 noon to 4 p.m. Eastern. Back Sunday live, 4 to 6 p.m. abbreviated Sunday broadcast, because there's so much news and information. We're going to cover news and take your calls if Lord Christopher Monckton leaves us. Jack McLam is popping in about the BP situation as well. Lord Monckton, we've got an 80-plus page breakdown that you sent him 2 weeks ago. He won't respond. And so I guess you're starting an opening salvo here. You said in the next few days, one more chance. You're going to publish it. We're going to put it up on Infowars.com. And I understand you're flabbergasted by just the complete fabrication, but sometimes they say Hitler said the bigger the lie, the more they'll believe it, but also the bigger the lie, the faster it'll fall. So just run over some of the other deceptions.
Let's just take one example. He said that I had misrepresented the work of Dr. David Barber, who's a climate researcher. Now, there's just one problem with that. I had not cited that researcher's work at any point in my talk, nor indeed have I ever done so. He just made it up. Then he said that I had conducted and had then misrepresented the results of a Google Scholar search for scientific papers containing all the words global, climate, and change between 2004 and 2007. Abraham also alleged that the quantity of scientific papers retrieved in the search, I said it was 539, had been a complete fabrication. He's accusing me of a lie. Because he says there were far more than that. Now, Abraham knew when he said his lie, because I had said so in the talk he was commenting on and made clear in the relevant slide, that the search hadn't been done by me. It had been done by Klaus Martin Schulte, a very distinguished researcher. Mr. Schulte's search results had been reported in 2006 in a peer-reviewed journal from which I had quite legitimately and accurately cited a key result. The database searched was not Google Scholar, but the ISI Web of Science database. The search was not for all of the words global, climate, and change, but for the exact phrase global climate change, because that phrase is a standard one used in searches of this kind. The search period hadn't been 2004 to 2007, but 2004 to mid-February 2007, which makes a difference to the number of papers.
So basically he just made up whatever he wanted.
And that contrary to the allegation of complete fabrication, Mr. Schulte's search had indeed retrieved 539 scientific papers, and not the several thousand that Abraham's Google Scholar search had turned up on a completely different subject. So he had got wrong the database we searched, the search term we used, the period over which the search was conducted, everything that had been plainly and accurately stated in my talk. He just lies about it and then says that I am guilty of a complete fabrication.
Well, sir, you know the British is even more intense, stronger, but under U.S. law, the definition of defamation, libel, or slander is premeditatedly manufacturing lies about someone to damage them. And this just from the preliminary here, and it goes on, sounds like it fits the very definition of that.
I mean, I think we are going to be looking at a legal case if we can't get any sense out of the president of the university, who, again, if you're listening to this, I want you to email this creep of a president, Father Dennis J. Dease, that's D-J-D-E-A-S for sugar E, at stthomas.edu. D-J-D-E-A-S for sugar E, at stthomas.edu. And tell him to do his job.
Well, this is an assault on you. I mean, this is an assault on you to create this scurrilous list of fiction and then say it's real. I mean, run through some more of it.
Yes, here's another one. He said that I'd misrepresented the findings in a paper by Dr. Lloyd Keigwin. Now, in fact, I had merely reproduced a graph by Dr. Keigwin showing that there was evidence that in that graph the medieval warm period had been warmer than the present. And he just... But
everyone admits that. Everyone admits that going back to the maxim back in the start of the Bronze Age, 8,000 years ago, that was going on. I mean, look, even the mainstream media admits you've been right about the cooling for 9 years. I mean, you've overturned their entire fraud.
Here's another wonderful one. Abraham falsely represented me as having misrepresented the results of a paper by Noon et al., although Abraham knew when he told this lie in his talk that I had correctly reproduced a graph from that paper, which was about Antarctica. And Abraham then also knew that a comment on the internet from one of the authors of the paper to the effect that the Arctic is today warming rapidly had no bearing whatsoever on my use of a graph from that paper, which was demonstrating the reality of the medieval warm period in Antarctica. This guy, Abraham, knows so little climate science, he can't even tell the difference between the medieval warm period and the present, or the Antarctic and the Arctic. That's how ludicrous.
So he was floating around at 1,000-year, multi-1,000-year, 500-year intervals, not even knowing where he was.
And not even knowing the difference exactly. Not even knowing the difference between.
Wait a minute, he didn't even know what the medieval warm period when they had grapes in England?
He doesn't appear to have understood that at all, because I was citing a paper that was looking at that period. He then gets hold of one of the authors and finds on their website a statement about the Arctic today. Well, that has nothing to do with the Antarctic in the medieval warm period 1,000 years ago.
Well, the Antarctic is the southern and the Arctic's the north. He didn't even know that?
He didn't even know that. And he stands by
Excuse me, my 6-year-old knows that, Lord Monckton.
That's right. I wrote to him, and I gave him a copy of or at least the president of the university gave him a copy of my letter to the president of the university pointing that one out, and he stands by his position that the Antarctic and the Arctic are the same. I mean, that's what he says when he says, I stand by my position. He's standing by all these lies.
I'm sorry, but that one blew me away.